Hey guys, and welcome back to Doom. Well, we managed to get on the tram, okay. Bit of a banal start, but I assure you, shit's about to pop off, and we're on our way to the Lazarus facility right now, where some very tasty experiments were going down, especially in the weapons department, so prepare yourself, because I believe a big fucking gun is coming our way.
It's a good thing he didn't really succeed, like, truly in regards to the BFG, because I get the feeling that BFG was designed to kind of be the ultimate destructive weapon, and then they were going to put that onto a cyber demon, and then that just would have been the end of everything. So, well, we're quite fortunate that it didn't quite get to that point, but whether or not it was intended to be armed onto a demon, or whether or not it was a case of a failsafe just in case everything went a bit Pete Tong, it's a little bit up in the air. I suppose you could theorize both ways.
This level is deceptively simple to start with. You think, like, because, oh, this place looks a bit more human inhabited, it's not going to be too tricky, it's not going to be filled to the brim with demons. Oh no, there's no humans here. It's just been completely overtaken by the demos. And, yeah, let's just say, a few swears came out of my mouth during this level. I was getting a bit angry. Well, not from, like, mankybuses and whatnot, at least not now, but, yeah, I hate arena fighting, so look forward to that.
Yeah, they do throw in quite a few arena fights in this particular one, but if you're a fan of that, then that's perfectly fine, I suppose.
Secrets in the toilet, my god.
You know, I have to check, just in case. I mean, if there's anything like Duke Nukem 3D, that's where all the good shit is kept.
Did you play the most recent Duke Nukem, or did you not like the look of it?
I did play Duke Nukem Forever, and I really did not think much of it at all. It was very, I wouldn't say entirely underwhelming. There was maybe one or two bits that were okay, I guess, but for the most part, it just kind of left me thinking, oh, they could have done better.
Yeah, I feel you.
But then again, it was I think it was by Gearbox, and I'm under the impression that Gearbox can basically do Borderlands, and that's basically it. Yeah,
I'll agree with that as well. That's one of those Argent Energy things that they just give you, like, out the goodness of their hearts. A charity Argent Energy piece, if you will. So I was more than happy to put that into my armor depository.
Maybe they just put it there to make sure you always had, like, a curve to go off of, so you're kind of always like on this path of finding upgrades, even if you're not deliberately going out your way to look for secrets.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just feeling charitable, I don't know.
Being very delicate with these hordes of zombies, mate. Why not just rip and tear?
Well, I'm trying to save my bullets for the ones that actually are worth it, and there you go! There's Olivia Pierce before she went all crazy and got grafted onto an exoskeleton.
Their unquestioning work and devotion has earned them a place in the Hall of Excellence. Are you doing all that you can to see our destiny manifest?
I don't know. I feel I could do a bit more to make Destiny manifest, but I'm not getting paid enough for this shit, honestly.
No, you're definitely not getting paid the same price of all these bigwigs like the head of robotics and, of course, Samuel Hayden himself, who kind of looks like somebody's young granddad. Just like that guy just like chilling out with.
Oh my god, you know, sorry, I didn't mean to draw. You know, he reminds me of Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy.
Really? I don't actually remember properly what he looks like, so I'll just have to take your word for it, but that's kind of ironic considering what we were discussing in the last part.
Very much so. Also, my favourite joke, you ever seen Charles Martinet and Bill Farmer in the same room? No, because they're the same fucking person.
We are not advancing enough applicants, and our faith is nothing without believers. We cannot conduct our work without them.
It's so weird, and this happens in Dead Space as well, when you have, like, science and religion coexisting with one another, like, working for the same goals and whatnot. Faith and, I don't know, human advancement, walking together for a brighter future. I don't know where I'm going with this, but shit's fucked up, yo.
Yeah. Then again, when you combine science and religion, you always have that one person who wants to have the best of both worlds and become God above everything.
The board understands the peculiar nature.
This is where the story starts to, like, bend over to Samuel's line of thought, at least from what I was to take from it, and Olivia is just being paid and just completely offer gourd at this point.
Well, she pretty much is. I mean, Hayden's kind of a piece of shit for, like, going through the idea of exploiting hell for resources as it is, but, you know, at least he wasn't actually inviting the demons over for tea or anything like that.
Yeah, he respects them, he doesn't trust them, I think is the best way to put it, but this fucking room right here, oh my god, you'll have witches, you'll have mankybuses, you'll have hell knights, you'll have impos, rockoskellies, even a few zombos here and there, and I died about 5 to 7 times!
I think I maybe died once or twice whilst I was playing through this level the first time, but this time around I was a lot more prepared because I did share some similar sentiments in regards to this level's really damn tough, or at least this particular part. So I was deliberately making sure I found all the zombies and what have you first, get a lay of the land and remember, okay, this is where everything is, so that I, hopefully, wouldn't have any problems later on.
What I found turned the tide was, there was a certain point where, like, I think either a mancubus or a hell knight comes down, and you grab the rampage power-up, and you go to the top level, or the mid-level, as fast as possible, and you take out that witch, or whatever it's actually called, so they can't spawn in more enemies, because I was just getting flanked on every side, and that's where I kept dying.
Yeah, it's, again, the whole thing we're bringing up about the summoners, if you leave them alone for too long, definitely the most fearsome enemy out there. If you dispatch them quick, they ain't nothing.
Oh, the music's slowly picking up, really? We're going berserk now? Okay.
I get the feeling, I was thinking, okay, that's probably the last enemy, and then the rest will be coming up, and then I was basically aiming to have it long enough to take out a couple of big dudes, and then wait for the summoner to appear, and then just ride out the power-up for as long as I can from there.
Oh no, this is where it all starts kicking off, my friend.
It was either that, or I know I had chainsaw ammo reserved for the summoner, so I just found the summoner with the chainsaw, I believe. But there we go, we'll be able to see what Past Volk decided to do in just a second.
I'm just gonna sit here and, like, glower. Glower in the face of your overwhelming video game superiority.
Well, I won't go that far, but at least I didn't die, so at least I'm probably in the side of competence.
Also, I'm incompetent, I get it. I'm not letting you win this and come out the better guy. Not when you're better at video games. You can't be nicer and better at me at video games. It's not fair.
It's perfectly fair. It's just chasing after the imp with chainsaw? No! It's you. Oh, the imp got in the way.
That shit's hilarious. Oh my god.
So yeah, it turns out neither plan worked because the imp fucking took the bullet, or in this case, the chainsaw.
There you go.
Always irritating when that happens. Just like you're chasing after this thing with the intent of chainsawing it, and then an imp just goes, no! Luckily, it doesn't happen very often. I think that was pretty much the only other time, except maybe one that actually happened, where I got cock-blocked by the chainsaw.
I forget, did you take out the summoner? Because Guy seems to still be after your proverbial human butt, as it were. Sorry, don't know where I'm going in this part.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's been taken out at this point, unless another one spawned and I didn't know. But I'm fairly certain this is the last of them.
I think there may be a second one at some point.
This is the one shield guy. Alright, I'm the only one left. It's like, no, this isn't Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. You can't just pin yourself to the corner with a shield and then wait for someone to accidentally throw a grenade. That ain't gonna fly here, sir. And that is that.
That was a very anticlimactic ending. It was just like, alright Barry, Carnage is over. Flick the switch, music off, let's go home.
It's like when you're clocking out at the end of the day. One thing to note is if you have been paying attention to like all the additional pieces of lore around here, it's around this part where you start to learn about when you're an employee at UAC. The level lore patches actually do it from the perspective like you're an employee there, and it's kind of like an info board. It's like, hello, welcome to the UAC in like the first chapter, but then in the third chapter it's like, welcome, Tier 3 advocates. You have elevated yourself to the next level of thinking. You will be expected to partake in satanic rituals and sacrifices, and gain the spiritual understanding of who you are. And then at that point it gets a little bit crazier, but I'll get into those as we get into the relevant parts. But essentially as you go through the game and you're sort of following these things, you kind of learn what these interns have to go through in order to get the privilege of attending all these demonic sacrifices.
System update. There better not be any malware in there. No, like adware pop-ups in the middle of a hell invasion.
No, he just upgraded it to Windows 10.
I have supplies in my office.
He's very impressive in person, I'm not gonna lie.
He is very tall, either that or Doom Guy is very short.
I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure it's the former.
Alright, I guess we're just walking at this speed. Even Doom can't get away from walking simulators from time to time.
Well, you have to respect the Hayden swagger.
Yeah, he has got a bit of swagger to him, even as a robot, jeez.
I bet he looked great in a suit, even like that. So this is one of the few portions of the game where you get some forced lore. It's got quite the collection as well. And this is where I tend to be particularly childish.
Oh my god, what are his windows made out of glass-wise? Because you'd think the demons would have been swarming in his office by now.
I don't know, I wager that Hayden's packing a lot more than just a hulking frame inside that robotic body of his.
True, very true.
Pulled from hell in the earliest days of the program.
Okay, well, Mr. Robo here is spouting lore and whatnot, you guys can read that. Apparently, according to Twitter, Patrick Seitz is the voice of Jiren in the DB Super Dub.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
We learned how to manipulate.
He of Eureka 7, Bleach, Naruto, he's Frankie in One Piece, he's Sloth in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Scrolling down, what else can I see here? He was Iragamagori in Kill la Kill. Oh, I love him. Oh, and he was Dio Brando in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood dub.
Oh, yes he was. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same in Part 3 as well.
Very good, very good. Apparently there's a JoJo game coming for the Switch, but I don't know what genre it is, so we'll have to wait for that.
Complex across the chasm. Your affinity for guns is apparent.
Come on, get out of every meta commentary, Hayden. I've got a job to do here.
The service
It's just like, yes, the thing you're probably after is in the place where I want you to be. Trust me, you will like it.
Trust me, I'm a robot doctor.
It may as well just say to Doom Guy, happy birthday from Samuel Hayden. It's just a gift wrap BFG with a little pink bow on it.
You got me exactly what I wanted, and then there's just like Olivia in the corner, like hastily stowing her BFG present away.
You may notice I had a really dumbass moment there where I called an elevator that was already down and actually waited for it.
Yeah, I did that too. You're not alone.
Oh, thank God for that! I was about to just surrender myself to being a complete dillwad, but thankfully I don't have to. There is someone who can relate.
This is a bit of a breather moment here. There are more arena sections, and as you may expect with the BFG upcoming, oh yeah, they're going to get pretty tough. The BFG will be your panic button gun, your get out of jail free card, as it were.
Or if there's just a whole bunch of enemies and you want to make the most efficient use of your ammo, yep, BFG will do that too. Sometimes it's not always the best idea to save it for when you're in trouble. Sometimes it's best to use it before the trouble even begins.
Was that necessary, Volk? There was just like one Zombo there.
I know, but I think I was at this point where I was thinking, I may be missing a secret here. So I decided to go back to another area just to see if I can find it. And yes, there is a rune over there. Unfortunately, I did not actually get it. I guess I may have just zeroed in on the Praetor token and just completely missed out on the rune. But unfortunately, that's just something we're going to have to take. Thankfully, it's not that useful of a rune. I'd say out of like the 5 ones you get towards the end, that one's probably the least impactful, but learn from my mistakes is all I'll say on this particular part. Don't miss out on the runes. They're all pretty good in their own right.
I think there's a new enemy type here. Yeah, the cyber, whatever that is.
Yeah, the Mancubus Recolor, as it is also known.
Oh, died pretty quickly, so...
Yeah, they're a little bit stronger, but I don't actually think they're much more, I guess, tougher in terms of health. So they'll still go down the same, it's just if you get caught out by one, it's a lot more dangerous.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell they love the BFG division because they use it in quite a few places in the game, but it is a rocking tune, so I'll forgive it.
Oh yeah, I can't actually, like, think of any other music tracks, like, in Doom 2016. It's mostly just BFG division that comes to mind.
I know, Rip and Tear's quite high up there too, honestly.
How does that go? Give me a bit of an a cappella beat.
You just suddenly put on Beethoven or something like that and just like da 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 da, BFG shot just tears everything apart.
Nice. Still waiting for the a cappella, by the way.
I'm not very good at a cappella, and honestly, the actual tune of the song escapes me, so... No live performances today.
Yeah, just proving my point, are you, mate?
Yeah, BFG Division is the most iconic, I will admit, but that's not to say that there are other songs in the game that are bad. Every single track in this game is good, it's just that BFG Division just elevates it so much higher. So yes, you do have a point.
Increases the length of time that a parrot will remain active. Very nice. Get some quad kill damage going. A bit of Rampage or Berserk. I keep mixing up Rampage and Berserk.
Do you know they're actually making a Rampage movie?
Really?
I'm not sure if the science is just you being stunned or if something else is going on, but apparently, while I was watching Star Wars Episode 8, there is actually a Rampage movie coming out with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I mean Rampage as in the video game, you know, where you have the big 40, 50 foot tall monsters breaking buildings and eating people, so... Who knows how that's going to work exactly, but... all the best, I suppose? I'll never deliberately hope for a movie being bad.
Isn't that just a kaiju movie?
I guess so. I guess they're kind of going into this whole, okay, we want something kind of like Godzilla, but something that maybe people will be able to relate to. So maybe they thought up Rampage. Now there's a secret here, but it's a little bit tricky to get to. Unlike the other ones, where it's just a case of trying to find it in a very hidden spot, this one requires a little bit of platforming finesse to get to. You might be able to see it all the way in the distance over there.
Nice.
Yeah, just about. I'm pretty sure, like, half the time if you get caught in that situation, you'll actually be trapped underneath the lip of the platform above you, and you'll either have to somehow try again, or just fall to your death and do a mulligan on the whole thing. Skull sneaking around, thinking he's hot shit.
Yeah, there's a few of them here. Thankfully they don't do much damage, especially if you have armor on tap.
They are scary, though. I will give it that. When one just takes you by surprise and just suddenly is right in front of your face, it does give quite a jump. I believe on the higher difficulties, though, those lost souls actually get replaced by Kako demons.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, as well as the higher difficulties usually adding more enemies that obviously do more damage, they do tend to replace enemies with stronger variants. So that's one of those occasions where that was the most obvious. And the only reason why I know that is because I was actually watching somebody speedrun the Ultra Nightmare mode of this game, and that's the reason why I know the whole enemies get replaced with tougher ones on the higher difficulty side of things.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to Hurt Me Plenty, thank you very much. I'm a normal pleb.
It does get very difficult. It's not one of those things that should be for the faint of heart, certainly, but it is overcomable. I think the early parts of the game, for me, usually end up being the hardest, because you're so limited in sort of like the weapons that you have, and you have to be a lot more conservative with your ammo just to make sure you're not stuck with your basic bitch pistol, for instance. But once you get to the later points of the game and you got more weapons, that's where things start to get a little bit easier. Even though the game's difficulty is meant to scale up, you just have so much more options available to you that it's a little bit easier to overcome if you kind of know what you're doing on the fly.
I skipped ahead a little bit here. Why was that exactly?
Because there was a lot more running around trying to figure out if there was any more secrets in the previous area. There is a mega health hidden away, but I didn't know how to get to it, and I wasn't going to waste 10 minutes like running around trying to find it, so I cut ahead there just to save a bit of time in that regard.
Fair enough.
Of course, if I had found something interesting, I would have probably just cut to that particular bit. No, there wasn't one of those cover-ups like, I misstepped on a platform and died. Thankfully.
I have plenty of those in my recording time. Or, in the case of Odyssey, I can't walk in a fucking circle properly, and the goddamn Cooper won't give me the points I need to get the fucking moon!
Oh, that's something I hope I don't have to deal with. I actually did get my Switch today. And I have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at the moment, and I'll probably be buying Mario Odyssey to go with it, so we'll have to see how that goes. I have watched a little bit of the playthrough, but I haven't watched enough to kind of spoil myself too much, so I have enough of an idea to know what I'm doing, but I haven't spoiled myself so much that there's like no surprises left.
Ooh, precision bolt.
This one probably behaves the most like a sniper rifle out of all the weapons in the game, whereas the siege mode just gives you a general power boost in your beam. The precision bolt will actually do more damage based on where exactly you hit an enemy as well. So if you hit them on the head, you'll do way more damage. So if you do want to get some headshots in there very easily, precision bolt's very good for that. Whee! Of course, you just hit your head at the force of like 100 miles an hour, and somehow it does not faze the Doom guy in the slightest.
He's wearing armor, it's fine.
Doom guy's too cool for concussions.
Did you miss that fucking armor?
I did, but I gave it another go. This time I activated the double jump to get there. Now I was hoping I could climb back up, but it doesn't happen that way, so I have to go the long way around. Now the good news is we are very, very, very close to the BFG at this point. We are near enough to the room where it's stored, but there's a bit of work you need to do in order to get to it. Yeah, they don't just like hide it away in just a secret area. They make you work for that shit.
I would love if it was just inside a big comical Acme chest or something.
Acme Big Fucking Gun 9000. Use with caution.
See, that's why Wile E. Coyote never caught the Roadrunner. He just needed the BFG.
Yeah, with all the money you spent on the failed stuff, yeah, I don't know why that guy was there, but oh well. But you think if he had just saved up all his money and just bought like the one big thing from the Acme catalogue, that probably would have solved all his problems right there, but it wouldn't be much of a show otherwise.
Alright, another Praetor token, man. You're just getting these hand over fist. I'm kind of jealous, honestly.
Yeah, but to be fair, there's only like a couple of categories in the Praetor suit that I would say are must-haves. All the rest are very optional because, of course, you got one upgrade path that is more for side weapons like grenades and what have you, and honestly, when was the last time we used one of those?
Jesus Christ!
There's more of the head attached on that one than your standard issue Mancubus. You can see it in there. It's taunting you. It's like, come get me! Then we'll destroy the world together!
Okay, we need a survivor, let's say. Or if not a survivor, a corpse to help us obtain entry to the BFG chamber. You, Lado, can just go straight back to hell.
Bloody shield bastards. I swear to God, they always... It's not so much of their trouble, they're just inconvenient. And these little areas here are actually testing areas for the BFG, and I did a little bit of research on this, and I believe the idea is, throughout the entirety of Doom's lifespan, there have been different-ish variations of the BFG. So you got some BFG versions that end up being just like this one elongated beam, and it's just like one giant orb that just explodes and then kills everything within a wide area. But that one there is actually a rapid fire, and I believe that's actually points to a prototype of the BFG 9000 back when Doom 1 was being released. And the idea behind it was that it was meant to be a glorified plasma rifle. It used lots more ammo for each shot, but it was rapid fire. And pretty much did all the weird destructy stuff that you used to the BFG, I suppose, in the finished version of Doom, and of course in Doom today. So I'm not sure what made them change it from rapid fire. I suppose they wanted something with a bit more grandeur rather than something that just seems like a buffed version of a weapon that already exists.
Yeah, this is more like chain lightning from what I've seen.
Hmm. Well, it's more that the orb, and then it has those little electricity bolts to chain lightning, as you mentioned. So it's kind of a combination of the two, I guess.
Ah.
Wherein you've got the big-ass orb, but then it's also got all this other stuff going around. So if they don't get hit by the orb itself, it's still kind of scattering around everywhere, killing everything in its path.
Looking for the corpse, mate.
I will freely admit that when I first played through this game on the live stream, it took me ages to figure out which room the corpse was actually in.
Really?
Ugh, he has seen better days. Yes, really. I was like wandering around, like, I'm pretty sure I've been in these rooms like 3 times. Where is this room I need to be in? And of course, the corpse was pretty much hiding in plain sight, and it took me ages to find it. Weaponizing demons for a better tomorrow. Why? Now, I can name several problems with this, but I'm pretty sure they're all self-explanatory.
Oh. Yep, a self-defense system. Could have seen this coming.
Unauthorized personnel confirmed. Expulsion.
At least they're kind of putting it under high security. You know, they're giving it the protection it rightfully deserves. Although, now that I think about it, our casket wasn't nearly as well defended as this thing was. And I'm pretty sure on the whole, Doomguy himself is probably a slightly more destructive force than the BFG 9000.
I don't know, like, BFG's powerful from the get-go. Doomguy needs weapons to be the legend that he is.
Well, I don't know. Give him a Berserk power-up and his fists can do a mighty bit of damage.
Ooh, my.
And a chainsaw, obviously. But the idea is, why couldn't Doomguy have been in this room instead?
There we go.
I feel like that would have solved a lot of problems, but either way, to avoid spending too long on the same subject, we are picking up this bitch, and oh lordy.
Oh.
I love that they made it look as big as it feels in this game, because in the original Doom, it doesn't really feel as big as what you'd expect it to be, yet in this, it pretty much takes up the entire goddamn screen.
Oh, look at that mofo.
Oh, it is a big piece of beef.
Alright, I think we need a crowd to test this sucker on.
Ah, well, I'm so glad you asked, because we got the rock concert for the last Black Sabbath.
Multi-kill, holy shit!
Now, I believe they do actually glorify it just a little bit here, because there are explosive barrels around, but still, it does paint a nice picture for the destructive force of the BFG, and that it should be commanded with confidence, and that it should be respected. Well, you have no choice in the matter. You respect it for the whole 10th of a second you're still alive before it just tears you to shreds.
Very much so, but I would conserve as much ammo as you can for the upcoming arena fights, because these are just as hard, if not a wee bit harder, than the initial one in this level.
It's also worth noting that the BFG works slightly different in this game compared to others, wherein it has a separate ammo count, like with the chainsaw. So it doesn't matter how many ammo pickups or anything like that you have, it will always only have 3 shots available at any one time. But much like the chainsaw ammo, you do get separate BFG ammo. I just wanted to be done with them, and I know there's ammo around here as well, so I wasn't too concerned about using it at that point.
Okay.
Majestic green orb.
Lockdown in effect.
So how did you deal with this particular arena? Because I know the last one gave you a fair bit of trouble, but how did you fare with this particular one? Because personally I feel like this one's a little bit easier.
Yeah, I would say it is a little bit easier when you take into account the BFG. There are, again, certain choke points where you just have to fire off a BFG bolt and it will get you through to the next round, per se. But if you're not using the BFG effectively, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Now, you may notice I tend to use the chain gun quite a lot. That will happen during the playthrough, because as I continue playing through the game, and when I first picked up the chain gun, during my first playthrough I didn't necessarily use it so much. I was very much in favor of using the super shotgun, the heavy assault rifle, and the Gauss cannon. Although this time around I decided to try and give the chain gun a bit more of a chance to kinda gel with me, and I have to say it's probably become one of my favourite weapons over the course of this playthrough. To the point where I feel like maybe it's... I wouldn't say it's like my favourite weapon in terms of looks and what have you. Like, that would probably still go to like the BFG or perhaps the heavy assault rifle, but in terms of use, chain gun probably on top for me at this point.
Oh my god, it's all popping off, folk, it's all popping off!
Yeah, they're throwing everything at you. They do not want you getting back into hell, and there we go! We got the ultimate cooling on our chain gun, which was the third perk you can get after buying up the primary and the secondary. So we had to kill 4 enemies in one use of the chain gun without it overheating. And now that we've done that, the chain gun will now never overheat. So we can fire it pretty much with impunity, just like we could with a regular chain gun.
Jesus, I don't think you should have all this power, mate. I don't think you're responsible enough.
I'm plenty responsible. I mean, look, we're stopping the demon horde single-handedly. That's a good responsible use for power, if you ask me.
I guess so, yeah.
And you may notice they got those little portals on the background. You can use those to get from one end of the arena to the other. In this case, I believe it takes you to the lower and upper floors, depending on which color you go in. There's a Cacodemon around it somewhere.
There we go. Ooh. It's not over yet, but we're past the hardest part, don't worry.
Yeah, this next part is a little bit underwhelming, I'm gonna have to be honest here. I mean, especially with the BFG, I mean, come on, it's the BFG.
Oh, come on, it's the big fucking gun, what more do you want?
Lazarus service elevator now open.
I like how they sort of go, yeah, all these barriers around, I know something else is coming. They wouldn't just put all this shit in the way if they were going to introduce something else into the mix.
It's just a couple Barons of Hell. You've fought loads of these guys so far.
Oh yes. I got a chainsaw and a BFG reserve for them both. And that's that. Like I said, pretty underwhelming in regards to the fact that you have basically 2 weapons at this point that can insta-kill them as long as you have the ammo for it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and there we go. One of the harder levels in the game done and dusted. You maxed out your combat rating and whatnot, and you found a bunch of secrets as well. So I'm proud of you, Volk. I'm proud of you. But you're missing an elite guard, so unfortunately you get a 1 out of 10. Alright guys, we'll see you next time when we take on levels 9 and 10 of Doom 2016. See you then.